The normal penultimate week of the Premier League is done. Of course, we've got midweek games going on. Not quite as we speak, but very shortly. We're here to discuss the Premier League weekend's worth of action here on West Ham Official. I hope you are all well. Plenty to get through. Just 8 games, of course, because the FA Cup final this weekend. I'm joined, as always, by Shaun and Josh. Shaun, firstly, how are you?
Really good, mate. Really good. Cheers, buddy.
Good. And Josh, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. So JJ's in as well. Hope you are well, mate. Right, you're first for once, Shaun. Spurs 1, Burnley 0. We'll start with you then. Got over the line, I suppose.
We've gone on my game first, have we?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been back on since the North London derby, have I? So I think it's before then. I said I didn't know how to call that. So it's obviously been a big. What are we on? 5 days for Tottenham, is it? Roughly 5 days. Well, what can you say? 3 games ago, Arsenal were 4 points ahead of Tottenham. Now we're in the driving seat, obviously. First, if you have a quick covered North London derby, I think both these games there was penalties. I think.
Were questionable.
What did you say? Say it again, Jake.
Were questionable.
Well, that's just it. They're not. That's that you hit the nail on the head with that word. We covered this right at the beginning of the season about decisions. They're soft. They're not even soft. That's put the wrong word out myself. Then they are probably not great decisions for the game, but they are currently correct decisions in our game. If that makes sense, it's not questionable. Both the Son penalty was. I thought it was definitely a foul, but a letter of the law, you've got to give it. The Burnley one, remember a while ago, I said we were watching some strange defending going on. Dude said it's got to shut the door, noisy kids. Remember I said that we were watching like defenders making like unusual sort of running out with their hands behind their backs and all this sort of just looking really odd. It's because of that things like that penalty. Like they knew at the start of the season you can't go up for a header, you can't go for a block with your arm out like a scarecrow. You just can't do it. Okay, they might tweak the law again next season. Again, bear in mind this is about the 3rd handball tweak of a law they've done since the AR come in. So they've got to end up somewhere. Do you know what I mean? At some stage, they've got to come to the decision what is handball in the box. At the moment, that's handball. But anyway, a little bit on the Arsenal game. They just couldn't handle the crowd, basically, I don't think. I know you keep hearing about young players and all this nonsense. Gary Neville's turned up and said it's the loudest he's heard a stadium all season. I think they just crumbled. I think they lost.
Obviously wasn't at the West Ham Sevilla game then.
No, I don't. Thing is, the Tottenham Stadium they got special people come in. How the stand you've been there, how the stands sort of come over the top of you.
Special people along with special speakers as well, I'm sure.
You listen to too many stories. It's built of acoustics, so any noise is going to just echo around a bit more, I think. But yeah, that red card on someone was ridiculous. So they just went. I think Tottenham took it off the pedal. Obviously, no argument. It was a horrible game, the Burnley game. It was just horrible. But Burnley, I don't think they're not really known for playing a back 5, but they went man for man, tried to match up Tottenham. They got the penalty. I think Pope was man of the match. He made 3 or 4 good saves from Son. I think Lloris got called into action once at the post. Just is end of season sort of game you'd expect. Burnley end of season. They need every point. They were scrapping. It was horrible to watch. But a pet hate of mine is just people arguing about decisions when the law says they've got to give it. Do you know what I mean? Like Ashley Barnes, the 5 managerial team, how many they've got at Burnley.
But the issue with it is, though, and we won't go into it in too much detail, is just the one in the North London derby. We see that week after week not given, but then sometimes it gets given, sometimes it doesn't. That's the only thing that I've got to say.
So I don't know if we see ones like that as such, because I think it was Cedric, wasn't it, who did the foul.
Cedric, yeah.
I think what we do see like little coming togethers that aren't given, but with Cedric, and I think Gary Neville even picked up on him last night with his attempt at defending St. Maximan. Do you know what I mean? Because he looks so poor and clumsy, it draws your eye more to it. Do you know what I mean? Like that cross, it was a great ball in from Kulusevski, and he wasn't even looking at Son. He wasn't really looking at the ball. He was sort of doing what Holden was doing before he sat, just almost worried about. You could see he was just trying to get his body in the way of Son. So sometimes you can see this not given. With that one, I just thought it was quite an easy one. He just looks so out of position, so clumsy. But it was a pen. The Burnley one, I get that they're so gutted. They're fighting for every point. I think they will be safe anyway. But these are Premier League players and management teams. That American at Leeds does the same. Do you know when they watch the monitor and they jump out the dugout and they're in uproar? I'm like, how have you reached? Are you either completely blagging this, or you're just? How have you reached this level of football, not knowing the laws? Do you know what I mean?
Wow, hey ho.
It was a hard game, and I'm surprised it ended 1-0. But
it's just a Burnley game, and it 1-0 they lose and all of it. Matt, hope you're well. Skittles Villa today though. Josh ain't. It'll be West Ham by next year. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, they definitely turned up the speakers at Spurs all around. You can see them, they're everywhere. They're obvious. Turn up those speakers. To dare is to do, or whatever was on that thing. Christ, it was like being at blimmin', I don't know where, but hey ho. Spot on. Arsenal crumbled under the noise and the pressure. I think Arteta can stand there and say this. I'll get banned for 6 months, but he's a muppet. That's what he is.
The thing is, this isn't all fans of football clubs, but I come off watching that thinking they just capitulated Arsenal, okay? And Arteta's comments, we'll get on to Arsenal in a minute, but his comments last night, he took it all on the chin, crying little baby. Against Tottenham, just going in on the officials, I don't even think any Arsenal fans would have blamed any official whatsoever for anything in that game unless Arteta came out with the excuses. And then just this massive bandwagon started lapping up all these iffy decisions. I'm like, well, I just watched the game. I didn't see anything. I thought the ref had a good game. And I thought
all it is the rejuvenized Arsenal fan base. We had it when we played them. They're so frustrating with it. But anyway, right. Moving on. Josh, Watford 1, Leicester 5. It's a game that I kind of forgot about until I was writing this down about 10 minutes ago. Leicester scored 5 at Watford. Watford have just given up now, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's just the type of team who you can tell are already relegated. But as for Leicester, I think we know who's going to get the top 10 now because their last 2 games are Watford's, and I can't remember who else got, but I think it's someone who's not. Have they got Norwich? I don't know. No, Tottenham have Norwich. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they have someone else who's down the bottom. So I think they're going to get top 10. And I know they're only about 2 points off Wolves in 8th, so they might even end up getting 8th. But yeah, I watched the highlights on this and I thought Watford at the start looked like they were on top. They had a few chances, but then once Leicester got the first one, the floodgates sort of just opened and they just battered them from there. Jamie Vardy got a couple. And I think players like Jamie Vardy, I think it's been a difficult season for Leicester, hasn't it? But like I said, it does look like they're going to go and get maybe even top 8 now, as Wolves have had a really bad end to the season. But yeah, it was just one of them games. It was just a side that were already relegated. I know they're getting a new manager next season. Don't know. I've never heard of him. I think wasn't like the Forest Green manager or something. What? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, but typical Watford that appointment, wasn't it? How they went about that, but there you are.
He'll be gone by about October next season, probably. And
that's generous.
But yeah, it was just one of them games, wasn't it? I think we always expected Leicester to win. You could tell it was a team who'd already gone down, and I think Leicester look like they're going to have a good end to the season.
Yeah, I think it's a frustrating season for Leicester fans. They get to the quarterfinal, semi-final of the Conference League, and they've been not very good in the league this year. I think they're mid-table at best. I don't know without looking, but as a famous line in Shaun's book, it's a forgettable side this season, and I think we move on. Right, let's take some of your comments. I'm going to scroll up. Evening, Mike. Hope you're well, mate. Sharky said Europa Conference League football is where it's at. Yeah, but not until we beat Brighton next week and Palace beat Man United and we can get Europa League again. Then that's where it's at. But if we don't, then it is the Conference League, mate. If you know, you know. Gary says, evening, my favourite season of all time, so much to play for right across the whole of the Premier League. There is, and it's going to make an interesting final day. Obviously, the top four is now pretty much done. The title race could be done tonight, or they could be a little bit on it the last day of the season. There might be something on the relegation battle. We'll have to wait and see. Bailey, hope you are well. Peach is in, hope you are well. JK to the E, hope you're well. JJ said the Tottenham Warm Spud Stadium is decorated like an American high school gymnasium. To be fair, you've got to give it to them. It is a very nice stadium, but I thought the tifo thing was a bit silly. You want to go to Frankfurt and see how to do that without putting all your dream to do whatever on it. But
no, we've done it before. It's not the first time, but we've done it before. But it's typical of English football. It's not. I prefer something a bit more aggressive out there, or something like a team's like a legend sort of photo. That's the to dare us to do is a slogan. I think Daniel Levy come up with about 15 years ago.
I'll tell you what they should do. What Villa did this weekend, I thought looked good. We'll get Josh's thoughts on that in a sec. But everything going on there, I thought was quite good. But hey ho, it's just my opinion. Let's have a look at some more comments. Gary says, if Spurs win Sunday, their manager's already turned them around. If the board don't give him 200 million, it will be criminal. To be fair, you've got to give it to him. You know, he was left with a team that didn't want to play for what's his name, Nuno, and he's turned them up. Like, it's been one of the worst top four races in a long time. You've still got to get there, and that's exactly what you've got to do. Haven't Watford sat their new manager yet? No, he was like giving out awards at their award ceremony. He'll be gone by October. He will be gone. Let's take some more comment. Let's move. Oh, it's our game. Here we go. Right, plenty to talk about. West Ham 2, Man City 2. Oh, Shaun's game. Here we go. Anyway, let's have my thoughts first. I mean, not many sides this year can say they were 2-0 up, but 2-0 up to Man City at half time. I thought we were very good. We rattled Man City in that first half. A brace from Jarrod Bowen. If he's not on that plane to Qatar, well, I think that just shows you the hypocrisy in that whole England setup. But yeah, we did very well. You know, Man City were eventually going to turn up second half. They moved the wingers out to the right to the touchline, and they did cause us some problems. The Soufal own goal was a bit unlucky. You know, maybe should have had a shout. I don't know, but unlucky in the end. Goes into the back of the net. And yeah, their first goal as well. It's just lucky that it falls straight to Grealish and he puts it in with a deflection. Fabianski can't do nothing about it. The courage to hold on at the end. Obviously, the penalty, that was a penalty. There's no denying that. And a good save from Fabianski. It was at the right height. It was a poor penalty from Mahrez. I thought you don't say that very often. But yeah, a hard-fought point. A point isn't too bad of a result for Man City either, so I don't think any side would be particularly disappointed. A good send-off for Mr. West Ham, and I don't think we could have asked for much more. If only we would have held on, but hey-ho. Shaun?
Yeah, I think you've probably covered it all. I think you'd have took a point at the start, wouldn't you, obviously, and that sort of keeps you in with a little glimpse of maybe the Europa again in the last game. I was going to say if I was West Ham, I'd be a tiny bit disappointed because I'll be honest, I thought this first half is probably the worst I've seen Man City in a very long time. At the back, I thought they were poor for the whole game because they nearly put you clean through twice in the second half. But in the first half, I was watching, the commentary sort of said their passing was very sluggish. It was like walking pace a little bit. I bet they got a right bollocking at half time, to be honest. But like you said, they're going to come out fighting stronger. You just hung on for the point. I thought Man City, how poor they were. I think they're probably quite fortunate. I was watching it and writing things on Twitter. I was like, I couldn't. It's almost like they're in suicide mode a bit at Man City at times. It's like Ederson, it was like he was bored and wanted to come out for everything, even when the defence would have had it covered. And Yeah, Bowen probably could have had a hat trick, couldn't he? Did he have one blocked on the line or deflected wide, something like that? Yeah, with Bowen, I'll cover him quickly. I know you're all big Declan Rice fans, and I think part of that is he's very good for you, obviously, but part of that is a bit of a loving that you think if you give him this, that, and everything else, the praise, he'll want to stay a bit more. I get that. But I do think Jarrod Bowen's your player of the year. I know Rice got that, but I'll be surprised if most West Ham fans, if they're really being honest, what they've seen this season, if they don't give it to Bowen. To be truthful, if they take out the scared element of Rice going, we want to look. I totally get that. Do you know what I mean? Bowen's been awesome. I think Bowen should be in the England squad. I think he will be in the next one. I think Bowen is what a lot of Arsenal fans think Saka is. But the problem is with Saka, because we're now, 11 months on, we're still giving him a cuddle from the World Cup, the Euros, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Still can't boo Saka. We're still, you can't do that. Because just because professional footballer missed a penalty in the Euros. Do you know what I mean? Man up. He's done nothing. I don't think he's had a very good season at all. I know he's been nominated for Young Player of the Year, but I think if you look at the Young Player of the League, the list, it's a bit random. Like, I know Declan Rice only if you're 23 is the cutoff. I think that's a bit too old myself, but I don't want to keep bringing Rice into it. But I agree with you, Bowen. I think he's done enough. I did nearly screenshot and send you on Twitter, TalkSport, one tweet after the other. One was Man United might be coming in for Bowen, and the other one was Jeff Hurst saying that West Ham might take 100 million for Rice. And I thought, well, that's the way to upset.
We've got it all season.
Only final thing, I know we don't want to cover this too much. I remember I was on one of your shows the other, sort of not on your show, but I think Mike was one of them, talking about the Champions League and Rice staying. And I said on there, it's not necessarily the players you get in. Somehow you need to get the Champions League football for a top player to commit his future. Do you know what I mean? And I know the old school view was, it used to be just the champions. And I think next year it's even going to be 5 teams. But the Champions League is so big now. It is just so big. And it's hard. Tottenham, I'm not counting my chickens. We're not there yet. But that's your owners will want it. The players want it. As soon as a downside of becoming an international footballer at England's level, same as Calvin Phillips. As soon as you're on the biggest stage, the Champions League club's looking. So you then, as the club, like Phillips will probably leave Leeds. Now you've a bit like Tottenham, McCain. Now Rice and West Ham, you're fighting to keep him because the Champions League clubs are getting there. That's also generated by the fact that the money in the Champions League. We've just done a quick few figures on it. If Tottenham reach the Champions League this year, if they, I've worked out roughly, if they get to say the knockout stage, quarterfinal at push, they will get about 60 million in their pocket. Okay, this is a reliable source. West Ham's brilliant run in the Europa League last year, you only made about 15 million from the whole lot.
But to be fair, that's the Champions League and the Europa League. The step up there is monumental. There's no denying that.
But I'm not. And my only point really is when I put Tottenham the same as West Ham in this. We're sort of like we want to get back up there, but we're not there yet, and we're sort of an in between club. Similar ambition to West Ham, probably a bit more. I don't know. The players want to be in the Champions League. The owners want to be in the Champions League. The teams that don't make it almost fall further behind because of the prize money. And believe it or not, the Conference League, the prize money isn't a lot different to the Europa League. So I know it's a big drop off again, but it's not actually that the gulf isn't that big. But the Champions League to the Europa League, the prize money is about 4 times the difference. And I assure you, your owners will want that. And Rice, he wants to be on the biggest stage. Not just Rice, obviously. Harry Kane last year, Tottenham comes 7th last year. He had enough. He wanted to go. It is just commonplace when you get an elite level player. Somehow, if you want to keep him, your club has got to get there. Bowen, you've probably got. I'd like to see him. Rice won't go this year. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going, but that's what you're up against. It's not necessarily. You probably could buy anyone you want this summer, and it probably won't make a lot of difference to Rice's ambition. It's the Champions League, unfortunately, for all of us. It's just the way of the game, I'm afraid.
Josh, Leeds won, Brighton won. A game where Leeds are, you'd say, just about safe now. And then you've got Brighton who are just kind of on the beach, but still pushing up slightly.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I've said Leeds, they play quite well. From what I saw at the highlighted this, I think they created lots of chances and they should have got more. But I don't know. It all depends what happens on that last game, whether they're staying up or not. I know Everton have Arsenal away and they have Crystal Palace at home. Not sure the Leeds have, I can't remember. But Everton have 2 games and Leeds have 1. And I think they're at home, Everton, with 11 men on the pitch. I think they can beat anyone. So I think they'll probably beat Crystal Palace, and I think that secures some safety. So I think Leeds will go now. They had to win that game, but they were unlucky, to be fair. They played quite well. And Brighton, we've beaten twice this season, but it looks like they're still going to finish above us. I think they'll get the top 10 just behind Leicester. I think it's going to be them 2 now. And yeah, I don't think they played that well. They've been in good form last few games of the season. Well, last part of the season, they've beat Tottenham and Arsenal, and they've beat a few other teams since, so they've had a good end to the season. But yeah, I think Leeds, they were unlucky, but it looks like they're going now.
Yeah, I think it's just a clash where Leeds are just about safe now. You don't know what Leeds are going to turn up. They're getting players left, right, and centre sent off, and they've got Brighton who could do us a favour next week. Fingers crossed. Yeah, they are our bogey team. We never beat them. I don't think we've beat them at all since they've been in the Premier League, but hopefully we'll change that next Sunday down on the seaside. But next up, Wolves won, Norwich won. It looked like it was going to be just one final shock in Norwich's honeymoon period in the Premier League, Shaun.
I can't remember this game, mate. To be honest. This is just a Wolves game on it. How many games have Wolves drawn won all this season? I swear it's nearly every single game. But yeah, I don't know. Where do we go with this? What you choose? What angle do you want to go with this, Jake? I'm gonna say because I could just bang the same. We can talk about Tottenham Norwich if you want. I don't mind.
Go talk about Wolves. Go on.
Wolves. A West Ham fan that I know on one of your page the other day said he wouldn't mind taking. Is it Jimenez, the striker, who had the head injury? I think.
Good player.
So he's obviously going. Wolves fans, I do a bit of research whenever I read a story. They'll tell you he hasn't been quite the same since the head injury, but maybe he shouldn't be playing every week. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's confidence thing. So I don't know if that's going to be a cheap deal. Maybe 10 million. Maybe West Ham might have a little look at that. I don't know. Wolves are an odd team. They're an odd side. Yeah. I don't know what to make of them, to be honest. I was talking to my mate the other day, and I said at one stage you thought, hang on, they went on a little run, and they had like a little sniff around the top 4 for about 2 weeks, and then they just almost like they just decided they want to stop winning football matches, and then they like have about 4 1-0s in a row or a couple of 0-0s. But I don't know, and obviously they got Adama Traore's on loan at Barcelona. I think he's coming back. Or I don't think they can actually afford to keep him or something. I don't know. But I don't think Barcelona are keeping him. He's only on loan. I don't know what's going on at that club, is the honest truth. I don't know any Wolves fans, so I can't listen to their garbage. I'm sure they'll talk a lot of rubbish. But it's just one of those clubs that if you go down the whole league, take out the bottom 5, because I'd relegate all 5, to be honest. But if you go down the league, you can sort of gauge even a Brighton, a Villa, even in Arsenal, you can sort of see what they're trying to do. With a team like Wolves and the manager they've got, probably one of the Palace and everyone, you sort of see what they're trying to build. Southampton, sort of. Wolves, are they just happy?
It's such a strange side because we were at the Molineux when we got completely played off the park. You know, they've got a player in Ruben Neves who's worth a lot of money there, and they seem to start off well. When at one stage, let's not forget, they were for a short while they were in the top 4 conversation because they were pushing us up there. You know?
Yeah.
And then they've just dropped off into no man's land, and they're like 6 or 7 points behind us now.
Yeah, I just don't know. their results. I'm gonna have to check because it's gonna drive me mental if I don't. I've got to check everything if I'm not sure. They just seem to. It's always low scoring games, isn't it? More often than not.
Yeah.
They can pull one out of nowhere, but I don't know if they're struggling for money and they didn't really invest in January. I know they took it. I've even come out right at the start of the season now. Gotta be honest, because they're one of these really forgettable sides. I can't even remember the last time I watched them. I honestly cannot remember. The Sky even bother showing them? Do you know what I mean? When were they last on? It's like one of these sort of teams that if they were chucked on a Friday night, you'd probably forget all about it. I don't know. I'm interested to know where their fans think they're going. I don't know if you ever managed to chat to a Wolves fan and get one on. It's just some team, whether they're just happy staying in the Premier League. That's fair. That's a fair enough shout. But stay in the Premier League. But if you're then playing football, which is a bit dull and it's a draw nearly every week, or it's a 1-0, 1-0, 0-0, 2-1, 1-0. I don't know. I'd love someone to tell me what sort of team they are and what direction they're planning on going. Because
we had a Wolves fan on when we played them the second time around, I think, at the London Stadium, and I just kind of got the vibe as they're happy to be playing mid-table. They were over the moon that they were challenging for Europe, and they've dropped off, and I think they're just happy with that, you know. But
yeah, I can remember right back when Spurs took their 6th choice and took Nuno. Because obviously he was a bit of a legend there, but they were starting to moan about him at Wolves, Nuno, for the football was quite dull. Okay, so they warned Tottenham about that. Well, this football now is not a lot better, is it? So I'm just wondering. It's just I'll be honest with you. As you know, I follow football quite closely and research it a lot. I can't even tell you right this second what the Wolves manager's name is. I cannot tell you what his name is. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those teams. If you just plucked them out of the Premier League and just dropped them, and you wouldn't miss them. Not at the moment.
Josh wouldn't miss them. They're flipping rivals.
It's a strange outfit. I don't know. It is a funny outfit.
Yeah, it is. Let's take some comments. WH58 says Palace will beat the Manure. We will beat Brighton. Europa League, here we come. Come on, Jans. Oh my God, we've drawn the last 6 games of Brighton. A draw's not going to be enough, I don't think, because let's have a look very, very quickly. Because I think let's have a look. Bosh. There's 2 points in it, so a draw ain't going to do it. We've got a far superior goal difference, but we need 2 points. Of course, that's not going to happen. So even if they get a point and we win, we'll get Europa League on goal difference.
Jake, sorry to butt in again, mate. I'm doing it a bit tonight. I know you've got a few listeners who might be able to tell me this. If West Ham get this Europa Conference, do the English? I don't think the Premier League side should be in it at all. I think it's a nonsense contest, and I do think we're too. I think West Ham are too good for it. I think Wolves are too good for it. I don't think the top 5 leagues in Europe should be in it. But that's a different topic. More to the point. Will West Ham enter the second qualifying round on the 1st or 2nd week in July? Because that is
really.
I think that's what it was last year. And Tottenham, I can't remember who we played. It was literally you go into 2 qualifying rounds before the group stage, and I think it was something like July the 8th. So I don't know if any of your listeners.
Let's not worry about that. Jesus Christ.
It's worth worrying about now, just to make your week worse. But
yeah.
I don't know if they've tweaked it because the top clubs in the big nations have had a kick-off like you might expect, but
God, you're blowing out so. But hey ho, we'll have to worry about that later. But we won't, because Man United will do with United. They'll get 7th and they'll have to go through playing some farmers from Romania. Josh, time to talk about Villa. Villa 1, Crystal Palace 1. What is going on with Villa, man? It's just
I don't know. I think it was just one of them typical end of the season games. You could just tell, like, the atmosphere was pretty flat. It was just there weren't really a lot going on in the game. We had the better chances, but they probably had more of the ball, more chances, but we just had the better ones. There weren't too much going on. You could just tell it was like coming towards the end of the season. It's just one of them games. But I did think the thing we did at the start for the European Cup was good. I don't know if you saw it. It's 40 years since we won the European Cup. So we had all the old players come onto the pitch at the start, and we had like that European Cup like tifo thing in the crowd. So that was quite good. But yeah, in the actual game, I thought the atmosphere was quite flat. I just think just one of them typical end of season games, and I think our chances of getting the top 10 sort of gone now. I think if we won that and then beat Burnley, that should have been enough, but I think we'd have to beat Burnley and Man City now, which I don't think is going to happen. But it's been a good season. I think, considering we lost Grealish, and last season, whenever we never had Grealish, we barely won a game. I'd say if we can get to 11th, which is where we got last season, that's not bad. And then next season, hopefully kick on board and try and get into Europe if we spend a bit more money. Hoping next season we can come above teams like Wolves, maybe West Ham, because we should be. We should be, because we're spending like the most money out of all these teams, and teams like Wolves, Shaun said it before, and like West Ham, they don't really spend the money. They sign a few players, but they never really go mad like the Villa owners are doing. So I think with the money we're going to spend and the money we already have spent, I think next season we've got to try and come above teams like Wolves, West Ham, and like Leicester, teams like this. And I think the owner's objective is just be the best of the rest, but in the future just not get. I don't think with the money that all the big teams have now, I don't think it's going to be hard for anyone ever to, if who's not in the big six, to ever get into the top four. It's going to be hard in the next 5 to 6 years. I don't think anyone other than the big six is going to get in the top four. But I think the objective, if we can, that's the owner's objective, just try and get into the top six over the next like maybe 3 years, and just be the best of the rest basically, and hopefully just maybe one day we can sneak into the top four. But yeah, we've got to try. I think if we're struggling next season, it comes to about Christmas and we've spent all the money, I think Gerrard will be gone, to be honest. But hopefully we'll be about 9th or 8th at least by Christmas next year, and he won't. But I'd say if we're any lower than that, I think they'll sack him, because we're going to spend money. Definitely need to hold a midfielder. I don't know who it'll be. The talk of Calvin Phillips, Yves Bissouma, I can't see it, but you never know. If they go down, then the price tag's going to be a lot cheaper, isn't it? So I don't know. I can't see them going to Man United with the rivalry between Leeds and them. So I don't know. Maybe if they go down, we have got a chance, but definitely going to spend some money, and hopefully we can kick on next season.
Yeah, I think what we'll do in about next week after the season's done is to rate every team's season out of 10. And it'll be interesting to see what you say about Villa, because it's been a strange season. But come at the night at Arsenal for life, we are crap. Yeah, we know. Everybody knows Arsenal. To be fair, you took 6 points off us this season. I don't know how, but you've bottled it, mate. You've bottled it. Right, let's move on to a game where the Everton fans were outside with all of their pyros and their flares and all that jazz. They weren't victorious in the end. Everton 2, Brentford 3. Brentford pick up another 3 points on the road. It's looking like a very good end to a very good season for Thomas Frank's Brentford, Shaun.
Yeah, Thomas Frank's my manager of the season. I'll get that in there first. I'm not really. He is nominated. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the lazy option. You're
right. Go on.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the laziness of giving the Premier League winners the manager of the season. So Frank is he would be my manager of the season. First season up with very small club. I think they'll finish top half. I don't think Leeds. I think the most Leeds could get against them would be a draw. I think Leeds, I agree with Josh. I think Leeds will go down. I thought for a while it'd be tight, and I still think Leeds will probably go down on goal difference. Everton obviously need to win this. They won their 2-1 up, and then went down. No, 1-0, and then went down to 10 men or something. Then scored on. That was another iffy penalty right on half time.
Yeah.
I was sort of by this point, I lost the energy. It was 3 games on Sunday. I sort of was losing the energy to watch them all by this stage. But they sort of said it got to the stage where they just couldn't hang on any longer. They didn't have the I don't think Frank Lampard's known for organising a defensive team anyway. So if you're going down to 10 men and it's 2-2, and do you know what I mean? It's just not his style. I don't know. I don't think he's experienced enough to pull that off yet, really. Do you know what I mean? But I do think Brentford had a very good season. Frank done very well. What I did like, I didn't actually spot it because I was sort of watching it. It was on. I was doing a bit of entertaining, so it was on the background. What I didn't realise what I did, and they mentioned it at full time. It was very clever. You don't often see it. When Everton went down to 10 men, Brentford clearly a back three. They took off 2 defenders in the back three. Not at the same time, but about 10 minutes apart, I think. And they replaced 2 of the defenders with midfielders. So basically, all he thought was, right, they're down to 10 men. We've got more space to play the ball. So he's got 2 midfielders went in the defence and they just pushed Brentford just pushed wider and they just had more ball playing players in the pitch. And that was it then. It was a brilliant tactic. It was refreshing. You don't often see things like that occur. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't think many managers would think of that, but it was a bit of an out there idea, and I'm all for that. Go with Brentford. I think I thought for a while Ericsson might stay. If Tottenham get Champions League and they come in for him, I don't think he'd say no to us. But I don't know. He's obviously a player that got Tottenham fans' heart. I think I'd like to see him actually. I don't know. It's not for me to say what he does with his career and his health, but I'd like to see him retire within a year and have a good World Cup and go off into the sunset. But he might be perfectly good health. I don't know. But yeah, Everton. I think like Josh just said, they got Palace in the week at home again, so they'll have all the fans behind them. Well, Palace are probably good for a draw wherever they go, aren't they? They're another team a bit like Wolves that seem to draw every other game or something. Don't surprise me if that's a draw. I think Burnley have got Villa. They played last week again, 2 weeks ago again. Don't surprise me if that's a draw. I don't think many of these 3 teams down there, I don't see many wins, to be honest. That's why I think it might just go down to goal difference to relegate Leeds. But I think Everton just have enough. It's another team that we'll keep an eye on next year because they've chucked their fortune at their playing staff. And I think the jury's still out with Frank Lampard. So they could be swapped again mid-season.
Teams like Everton, obviously we know what Newcastle are going to do after their second half of the season. There's going to be some different teams up in the top half pushing next season, I think. But the final game of the weekend was Monday Night Football last night, which was pleasant viewing, Josh, I have to admit. Arsenal losing once again away from home up to the tune. They fell apart, Arsenal.
Yeah, Newcastle battered them, to be honest. Arsenal barely had any chances. I think they're another team, Newcastle, are now going to come above us, unfortunately. But they played really well. Was it Callum Wilson who got the goal? And that Bruno Guimaraes, best Bruno in the Premier League. Something like that. But yeah, he's been scoring goals for fun, that Guimaraes, hasn't he? I think when he come in, he was only a defensive midfielder, but he scored about 5 goals, hasn't he?
It's absolutely brilliant as well because Arsenal are so linked with him all throughout the summer. He goes to Newcastle and he scores against them.
I think second half of the season he has got more goals than Bruno Fernandes.
Probably.
Bruno Fernandes has done nothing this season, to be honest. I think he had that good game against Brentford the other week, but apart from that, he's missed a few penalties. He's done nothing really. In my opinion, overrated. But yeah, I think Newcastle, ever since they had the takeover and they brought in Eddie Howe, they got the new players. They've just turned it around completely, haven't they? If they get top 10, that would be amazing. Because remember in January, we did our who's going to go down predictions, and I think I had them to go down. I didn't think even if they brought all the new players, it'd be enough.
We all thought that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Did I?
They've ended up. I thought even if they did turn it around, I didn't think they'd be this high up in the table. But it's unbelievable how much they've turned it around. Eddie Howe's got to be a contender for manager of the season as well. I think he is a nominee. But I think we all know it's going to go to Guardiola or Klopp. It's always one of them two, usually the league winners. But yeah, I think Newcastle, they're going to probably come above us now, and they've had an amazing second half of the season. But as for Arsenal, it looks like it's going to be Europa League now for them, unless Tottenham do bottle it against Norwich, which they shouldn't do, but you never know.
Listen, Tottenham bottle a lot of things, but they won't bottle that, I can assure you that.
Never know.
Well, you do never know. But if it's a Norwich side, anything like what we played against them, well, Tottenham will score double
I
figures.
thought Norwich. I thought Norwich looked like they did okay against Wolves. They did play
Yeah,
some good
to be
football,
fair,
but
yeah.
I think that's been Norwich season. They've played a lot of good football, but they just haven't got the quality players to score. Really, they play good football, but just got no end products. Like
I think Norwich's home record, the last 5 games, I think they've let in 3 nearly every single game. So I don't know if they're a bit better away,
yeah,
but I think the last 4 or 5 at home, they've sort of let in 3s, 2s, 2s.
Fours.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. I think so. I haven't got their home and away record, but sometimes the bad teams they're just better set up to play away, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? If they can just when it's even if a rubbish team, when they go at home, they feel like they've got to try and attack, and that just goes against them a bit.
Yeah, to be fair as well, when we went, their fans knew they were going down. Obviously, they were mathematically down then, but yeah, they knew they weren't good enough to be in this league, and I just don't think their home support does them anything. Maybe over on the season they might have done, but there was nothing from them. And to be fair, it probably wouldn't be from many other sides if you're already relegated and you're playing Championship football. Trying to battle it in the Premier League. George, can you confirm or deny you're at the dentist today?
yeah, I did go today.
He was skiving. He was in the pub getting ready for the getting ready for the Liverpool game, aren't you, Josh?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. But anyway, we'll leave it as a Premier League roundup show done for another week. We've just got one more week left. Of course, it's midweek football going on for all rearranged rubbish and all that. But yeah, everybody's sitting down and watching either the Forest playoff semi. Here we go. Here's a question: if you're going to watch football tonight, you're watching the playoff semi-final or Southampton Liverpool?
Playoff semi-final.
Yeah, I'll go. I know quite a few casual Liverpool fans that have trekked on down the night. So yeah, I think Forest will come up. So I think they'll beat Huddersfield in the final. So I tip.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want Huddersfield. That's a long way up there. So is Nottingham, but Huddersfield's even more, I think. Oh. But anyway, there we go. Listen. I don't do geography. I've got a map there. I can't read it. But anyway,
I do rate the. I've forgotten his name, but the Forest manager, he's on the lookout for. He might get a Premier League job.
The manager. What's his name?
He got Swansea to the final last year. Then he's a good manager.
I'm going to have to Google that now. Nottingham Forest.
They knocked
Steve Cooper. That's it.
Yeah, he's another one that I think has got a bit about him. Yeah, he's a good coach.
There we go. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. For me, come on you irons. I think predictions then. I think Norwich will Spurs will beat Norwich. They'll get Champions League. Palace will beat Man United. We'll beat Brighton. We get Europa League. Leeds are going to go down. Happy days. That's what's going to happen. We'll see you maybe tomorrow night. Who knows? But from me and from these two gentlemen, I'll see you next week. Thank you very much for coming on as always.
No problem.
Cheers,
Thank you very much. Thanks for everyone watching and commenting in the chat. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.